I'm Brittany, this is Eddie, and welcome to Gaywatch, where we watch gay things. Today's episode is called Mud's Women, and this comes up way earlier than I usually remember it. Like, I cannot believe that we meet Harry Mudd in episode 3. This seems to happen, like, way fast. From what I remember in this episode, this has a lot of themes about the illusion of perfection as it pertains to women, the pressure about maintaining the perfect image, but it also has to do with the illusions of perfection as it relates to relationships and like what happens when that illusion inevitably shatters and all of a sudden people have to deal with who their partner really is. So there's a lot of relationship themes going on in this episode. And then of course you have the appearance of Harry Mudd, who's, well, we'll find out, won't we? Now we're gonna go over to Past Me for instructions about how this all works. This is how gay watches work. You get the episode queued up at 0000 on whatever device you choose. You'll check this video's description for the episode runtime and make sure that they match exactly. I'll give you a countdown of 3, 2, 1, play. And when I say play, you hit play. One more quick note before we hit play. If you're leaning on the remasters to watch this, that's totally fine. It should work, but always, always, always check the runtime like you would anyway. And if you're within a couple of seconds, you're fine. Okay, now that we're all queued up and ready to go, here's the countdown. 3, 2, 1, play. You know, I actually don't remember much about this episode, aside from one really legendary expression from Spock. God, is there anything better than those original uniform? Ooh, God, all right, enough with the sexy close-up, I get it. Someone wants to get away. I mean, granted, considering what he's doing, I'd want to get away too. When does Uhura get her red uniform? When do they put communications in engineering? God, that's a good shot. He's so fucking worried. Oops. Guess they'll die. There's an idea. Right, we're gonna talk to this motherfucker. We're gonna... Risky... Oh, so yeah, okay, we're gonna go to titles. Did I ever tell you guys how much I hate the season 2 opera version? I hate the opera version that comes into effect in season 2. I hate it. It's terrible. And at least all during season 1, I will be able to appreciate the greatness of the theme. But Jesus, when season 2 starts and she starts wailing, I'm gonna have to find something else to do for the titles. I don't know what though. Maybe I'll take up knitting. I could always just mute it. But no, really, the opera version is so bad. It's like, it's so scarringly bad. That reminded me of Kirk light. Whoops. Oh. Whew. All right. Huh. We almost had a problem. They're still not answering. Those boots. Whoever designed those fucking Starfleet boots, I hope they got paid. Oh my god. Hi, Harry. I wonder if he has a flamboyant personality. The clothes really don't give anything away. Like, that's great. Why were you on a suicide mission? Why did you... Oh, he's such a good used car salesman. Like, ugh. We couldn't be sure if it was an enemy vessel or not. You were about to, like, explode. Hey, was that the first glimpse of, technophobe, spacephobe, whatever the hell, McCoy? I forgot, they like just, but he came this close to getting them all killed. Why, it's a crew of babes. It's just immediately skeevy. Oh, aesthetically arranged babes for camera angles. Spock is so confused. I mean, I'd be confused too. How many come hither looks? Meanwhile, McCoy is down. McCoy is DTF. McCoy has officially been swayed. Kirk's patience is... Oh, wow, yeah. McCoy, I'm gonna need you to tamp that down. Spock's face. Oh god, that's right. He describes them as Harry. Oh yeah, no. Can't have an exit without the vamp music. I like that short-haired girl's outfit though. Good lord. Harry, I'm a little worried about your chest hair, Harry. I think it's a concern. That's a very important... That's the first note. Hang on. Quite literally. This is... Spock's face. Spock's fucking face. Kirk is also confused, but by as hell, so he's very... Cargo, Harry, why do we begrudgingly love you? It's gotta come up somehow. Meanwhile, Spock is currently operating at like peak. Wait, here it is. Spock is currently operating at peak like, this is really none of my business. I am entirely too gay for this situation. Kirk, thank you. He's got Harry's number so hard. Spock in the captain's chair. How often does that happen? You know, I always appreciate it when Spock's Vulcanness can read gay. And like this might be the height. Oops. It's a good looking red shirt. This is such a... Like, if I didn't know, and I remember the first time I watched this episode and just being like, what the fuck is going on? This was such a good setup of withholding information, because it was driving me nuts. Like, what? It's quite an attractive hand you have on your hip there, Spock. Ooh. I didn't realize dilithium crystals were that small. What? What was that? What was that lilting voice and bedroom eyes just then? How did I forget that? And like right in front of Scotty. Damn. Uh-huh. Oh. He's such a good snake, but he's also such a bad snake. Maybe that's why we like him. Hardcore Fenton Mud. Why, it's almost like you're a criminal, Harry. It's almost like a lying. It's almost like lying won't work in this situation. Oh. Uh-huh. Stink Eye. Where's Stink Eye coming from? What? That's not a seductive look, sweetie. I'm sorry. Whoever told you, that's a little bit better. That was a little bit crazed. Okay, now that's like really crazed. I'm sorry. He describes his job as wiving settlers. Captain, all the men are hard. I don't think the record needs to state that, all the men in the boardroom are currently. I mean, that's the first question. Yeah, that's still crazed. Like, well, you're kind of somewhere in between. Like, I agree that it's debatable, but you can still understand the reticence here. After lying several times. The gay judgment that just passed from the captain to the first officer. That was legendary. Oh my god. Ooh. I mean, right? Like, there's desperate for husbands, and there's... I don't know. Like, they need companionship. Like, okay. But the level of desperation it takes to be like, a stranger, I'll marry him. That's some next level... That's some next level stuff. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. I thought they already had an arrangement with... I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. If you have an I mean, one arrangement with a stranger is as good as another. There's no chance he's lying right now. Oh my god, that's right! He tries to take the fucking ship! I mean, the red shirts are still in the room. They kind of heard this. He is so bad at being a criminal. Well, not totally unexplained. Well, according to these charts, you're horny. That's still not sexy. Oh, McCoy. You southern hoe. Oh, don't be so judgmental, McCoy. You just undressed her with your eyes. Oh, science or penis. Science or penis. Oh, science wins. I don't even know what it's doing. Which I guess is the point, but info would be nice. Okay, she's kind of smooth. I'll give her that. Yeah, okay, we're back to penis. All right, My dear, are you radioactive? That's pretty good, come on. Oh, yeah! I forget why this happens. I forget why Harry aims her at Kirk. Probably something to do with taking over the ship. My dear, I feel that there's something between us. It's this weird fence thing. I can't really see you. Can we get out of the... I get what we're going for, but okay, there we go. Sexy reveal. All right. Science or penis? Well, okay, captain or penis. Oh. Captain or penis? Oh. Are we leaning are we leaning penis, or are we just playing penis? Captain or penis? Captain or... I guess that's what happened when you're hot with a conscience. Meanwhile, Kirk has no idea what just happened. I mean, why, it's almost like someone wrote it that way. I wonder why they had to re-record her dialogue. I hate to report, but I have a soul. Well, who doesn't notice the captain? Spock's been noticing the captain for like 3 episodes now. Right now, like, here's what I remember not understanding. 'Cause, like, you'll see what I mean. Like, the actual, like, illusion, I don't know if it's like an illusion or if it's actual, like, some physical transformation that they're supposed to be having. I thought they were gonna get right to the transformation. Apparently I'm wrong. Oh, hello. Oh, no, it's McCoy. Oh, yeah. Science or penis? Spock and his queer demisexual amusement is just one of my favorite things. Might be my favorite thing about this episode. Oh, that's true. You can, Kirk, you're a smart guy. She's napping. All right. He is exactly the type of hilariously incompetent criminal who would think that he could take this ship from its captain, let alone Captain Kirk. I mean, you meet Kirk for 2 seconds. mean, it's more than enough time unless there's some weird X factor that's at play. Whoa! Okay, that was out of nowhere. Right, okay. It's either extreme beauty or extreme ugliness. No, I'm sorry. That's just the effective. That's just the... Then I would stop making that face, sweetie. No, yeah. It's not extreme ugliness, it's just the absence of perfection. That might be the first correct thing Harry has said this entire episode. Interesting. The extreme version of the self-loathing when we're not dressed to the nines. Yeah, see, this is my question. What kind of pills were they? You're such a piece of shit, Harry. See, what kind of pill does hair? Like, I'm so curious about the science in this science fiction episode of a science fiction show, you know what I mean? This kind of leans, if not soft sci-fi, then science fantasy. Oh, right, duh, those are... I don't know why I thought dilithium crystals were, like, bigger. Also, I saw that exchange with the hand touching. Don't think I didn't. What? Oh, right. Huh. Women for crystals. Women for crystals. Okay, now he's pissed. I mean, it's a pretty low bar this episode, but still. Yeah, you want to play some fucking hardball? Oh. Yeah. Fuck. Fuck. See, this is why I could never be a starship captain, because I would have just laid him out. I would have punched him in the face. I would have just kicked his ass. provided he didn't fight back because I'm a wuss. But, like, I at least would have punched him in the face. Because, good God. That's so gross. Oh, the wind machines are really forceful on this planet. God, there's really nothing better than the old school uniform on him. It's just, I'm fine. Sorry. Ew. Well, I hate this. I hate everything about this. That's a weird opening line. There's snakes out there? Oh! No, thank you. Ah, yes. And a lovely day of pimping was had by all. Meanwhile, the one with the soul. What's her name? I missed her name. What are you mad about? Oh! Gross. Yeah, well, this was inevitable. Yeah, what'd you think was gonna happen? You put 3 hot chicks in a bar full of desperate dudes. I mean, point taken, but can we not go fleeing into the, you know, wind-swept desert? You know, the coloring on that paper mache ain't half bad. Has it worn off by now, or is she just in the desert? So that's the weirdest sand I've ever seen. Oh, they showed the stage. Oh, Eve! She's Eve. Sorry, I thought another chick was Eve. Has it worn off? I think it's worn off. Why is he there? Oh, that's probably a better idea. Or not. Ooh, dirty Kirk, hello. God, that back. I'm sorry. I'm gonna try not to thirst so hard. It's been a while. I'll get desensitized to it eventually. Oh. Someone just took out a little self-loathing on his engineer. Yeah. Yeah. I love that he just apologizes. He apologizes pretty readily, actually. It's not something that you have to, like, pull out of him. Oh, God, yeah, okay. Now we have to watch this whole drama unfold. It's a really pretty planet, though. You say easing? How far could she have possibly gone? Oh, that's a nice shot. Hello. Get. Ooh, hello. I love me some proximity. You know what I mean? Proximity whore, I am. Well, gotta put on my man face. Get her a fucking award. I really don't like you. Yeah, that's right. Oh my God. Now, see, that takes 2 brain cells because they have to rub together, and he doesn't. He doesn't have that many. Oh wow, the circular playing card started with TOS? I thought that was a TNG thing. Oh, careful, you almost gave her credit for something. You were nice to her for a quarter of a second. And he's stunned that she didn't roll over on her back. Oh, thank you. A real man is here. penis drag. Yeah, go off. Go off. Right. Excuse you. She looks fine. Thank you, Kirk. That chick you sold me wasn't hot. Doing what? Fucking... This bitch is going on my faves. My favorite Star Trek women list. How did I forget about her? Kirk is so curious. He's hatching... What's he hatching? He's hatching a plan. Hello. Again, how does a pill style hair? Fucking drag him. Drag him, Eve. A vapid trophy wife. What? What? Okay, never mind how a pill styles hair. How does confidence style hair? And like, I appreciate this. But again, confidence doesn't apply eyeshadow. So like, is this like a yay 60s situation? We might actually approach each other as humans now. What the... No. The international gay implications of that. Just about blown my mind. Oh yeah! Oh shit, that's right. Didn't I write like a fucking essay about that look? I did, didn't I? Yeah. He had that moment where it was like, it was all well and good, haha, last moments of the episode, and then it's like he starts thinking about something like really serious, and then looks over at Spock in that last, like, as the credits start. Wow, yeah, I remember writing a whole fucking essay about that. Just because it's so, like, interesting. Like, what could he have been considering? I like the idea that for that moment that Kirk would be thinking about what Eve said. She was like, oh, well, you're committed to the Enterprise. And I'm like, I don't think that was his question. I think it was more of a, would you like to stay here of your own free will? Because if not, you can hop back on the ship. Not a, that wasn't a what about us question coming from Kirk, so that was like a weird response. But I like to think, as part of a little headcanon, that last moment that he had in the chair and then he looks over at Spock, you know, he was considering what he has up on the ship that maybe not be the ship herself. Kind of like a consideration of priorities moment would be interesting. But there are so many directions you could go with that moment, which is probably why I wrote an essay on it. I need to go back and read like how I dissected that, because that's such a, and like it happens like as the credits are starting. It's so like it happens so quickly and it like comes out so far out of left field, but you can tell that Kirk is clearly contemplating something, and it had to have been in relation to Spock, because duh. I want to know like all the possibilities of what Kirk could have been thinking there, because that's like some Coda fanfic stuff. Like, I'm sure that there has to, because it's been around for 50 years, I'm sure that there exists some fanfic about what exactly Kirk was contemplating as he was blatantly looking over at Spock in a very subtextual, intense, homoerotic fashion. You know what I mean? But just in general, so how did I not remember Spock's infinite queerness in this episode? Thank God for the Vulcan suppressing of emotion, because if that doesn't provide just a wealth of gay interpretation in this episode, I mean in general, but in this episode in particular, his gayness in this whole episode kind of off the charts. I only actually wrote down one note. A very interesting rule was established with this episode when Harry said to Spock, a pretty face doesn't affect you unless you want it to. That has all kinds of queerness read all over it. So like now, ostensibly going forward, we have very good reason to apply that rule, and that he's only affected by a pretty face unless he wants to be affected by it. And that applies no matter what, no matter the sex and gender of the person involved. Interesting. Interesting. Because then, of course, the implication going forward then is that all the times that Spock is outwardly affected by Kirk, and there are a few times, all the times that Spock is outwardly affected by Kirk, it is because he is choosing to let it show. And that is just a fucking gift. But I do think, while at the same time, you know, he does establish that role, a pretty face doesn't affect him unless, you know, he wants it to. But at the same time, he's half Vulcan, and at the same time, I feel like there are very much moments that come up in the future where we see Spock be affected by not just Kirk, by other things as well, but also, I mean, since we're talking about Kirk and Spock, there are definitely times in this series where Spock is affected by Kirk and he can't help but show it. It's like the unresolved sexual tension is just too great. But there are definitely times when he's affected and and it comes through without him realizing. I think they're kind of few and far between, but then again, if I could forget that fucking moment with them in front of Scotty, and like all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Kirk was just like, you know, I might fuck around and make bedroom eyes at my first officer in a lilting voice and just kind of see how he reacts. Meanwhile, Spock reacting, and in the episode where it is established that he only shows the effects when he wants to, like, gee, I wonder what conclusions can be drawn from that. It's a mystery. It would be really interesting to write or read a little bit of meta about the comparisons between the themes going on in this episode of, you know, trophy wives and the illusion of perfection and not wanting a person, just wanting like a supermodel or some, you know what I mean? It'd be interesting to compare and contrast those themes of illusion versus the real person with Kirk and Spock's relationship. In terms of illusion versus realness, off the top of my head, it's interesting when comparing that to Kirk and Spock because Spock maintains illusions. He maintains the illusion, sometimes poorly, but he maintains the illusion that he's pure Vulcan logic, disregarding his human half, and he just asserts that he has this perfect Vulcan facade of being aloof, unaffected, and a purely logical being. And we know that's horseshit. And one of the reasons we know that's horseshit is because Kirk's like number one hobby is getting Spock to betray himself is kind of a strong phrase, but it's applicable. Kirk loves needling Spock. Kirk loves teasing the human out of Spock in a very fond way. What he's doing when he does all of that teasing and when he gets Spock to kind of reveal something a little more human is he's chipping away at that illusion. And that's an important part of their relationship development as the show goes on, and even the last-ditch effort that Spock tries in the first movie of maintaining this facade. And what's great is that, like, the lesson here of the episode is that, you know, fuck illusions. It's dealing with your partner and yourself as you really are that you can finally fucking get somewhere. And that's very interesting when contrasted with Spock's facade. I don't think I drew that connection before in the commentary. Huh. I wish Spock could have been in the room for that final reveal with Eve and placebo and etc., etc. I feel like that was something that Spock kind of desperately needs to see. but that was withheld at the moment. It'll be interesting going forward, tracking the illusions in the facade that Spock tries to keep up about his Vulcanness, and how they are, and how those illusions are chipped away, not just by Kirk, but also by a lot of things that Spock experiences, and how that affects Spock's relationship with Kirk. I think Mudd's illusions as it relates to Spock's illusions, that's a topic for some fucking discussion. You know, in a way, Spock tries to have it both ways for a while. He tries to verbally maintain that he is Vulcan and logical, but then he behaves in a very emotional, revealing, flirty, tension way with Kirk. So he's trying to outwardly keep up the reputation of his, Vulcanness, but then at the same time, he's kind of, flirting hardcore with Kirk and making emotional decisions where Kirk is concerned. It's a very interesting type of denial that's at play, of asserting one thing, but then you can't help but behave in another because someone slips past your defenses. And that makes, and for me, that makes the kind of the self-warring and the contradictory parts of Spock even more interesting when you add the Kirk-Spock dynamic on top of it. And that's like a common thing. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I love Kirk and Spock so much. Because as the show is, and as the relationship is, fabulous. You add a Kirk-Spock layer onto it, and it makes everything that much more complex and interesting, and asks all these new and more fascinating questions. Yeah, okay, so that was Mudd's Women. That was gayer and had more gay potential than I remembered. I feel like I'll be saying that a lot, but I really didn't remember much in the way of Kirk Spock in regards to this episode, and I have been pleasantly surprised. Just pleasantly surprised. I also have a new little meta theory to hash out and turn over. Ooh. That's it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. I will be here next week with The Enemy Within, and please remember to take care of yourself.